Hello YouTube, Tim here. I've got another week of mail call. Today I'm not down in the dungeon. I won't be doing it from the basement like I had been. The idea was I can't get the darn thing working. That is my nice camera. I can't get it working. I even tried it with a lav mic and silence. Very frustrating. So ultimately I'm back upstairs, and I'm back upstairs with my usual camera. I hope that quality doesn't suffer, and know that I'm working on things. I am trying to make things better for you guys, and I want to be producing some decent videos to make it interesting to watch. On that note, let's move along to the actual questions of the week. For starters, Andre Moore. Hi Tim, love the quality. I've started making bows, and I made a decently heavy Scythian bow, and I'm happy with it, but I noticed that it flexes in the handle at full draw. Any help? I also have some ideas that I'd like to share with you. Cool, Andre, that's great. I'd love to hear your ideas. Whatever they are, I'm always open to learning new things, and I know that I don't think of everything. Far from it. So if you've got something cool, share it with me. Second of all, handle flex is going to be a problem with PVC. For the most part, with wood bows, you can make working and non-working handles very easily by adding thickness. As you know, the width of the bow, of a wood bow, say, let's just say a plank of wood, determines its stiffness in that plane, proportional to its width. The thickness, the bending resistance, or stiffness goes up, I think, is the cube of its thickness. So it goes up substantially faster. You'll see that PVC, since it's basically single tube, you have a maximum handle strength that you can deal with. And that's just the raw modulus of the pipe in that particular cross section. Don't worry too much about it. A working handle can be a very good thing, is what I'd suggest first of all. A working handle stores more energy, it takes stress off of the limbs. It can be very good if the bow is tillered properly. If it's really an issue and you're concerned about it, you can go ahead and stiffen the center. Jam a dowel in there. I did that last week. You can also go and you can put other pieces of PVC pipe inside, one inside the other. You can put a handle on the outside, although when I've done that to some bows, the handle's cracked. So be careful. You can do a lot of things to stiffen it. I've got a few cool ideas which are coming up, and I'll show you guys those when I get there. But you have options. If you really want to make the handle stiffer, something I'd recommend trying, if you really want to make it stiffer, try taking 3 sections of pipe, say 3/4 inch, heat them all up together, and then clamp them together. So now you have a sandwich. The bow, flattened pipe, all flattened together. So each of them might only be very thin, but put together they're about the thickness of a full 3/4 inch pipe. However, they're solid, and they're also very, very wide or thick front to back. So there's going to be very little flexing at the handle with such a bow. That'd be something worth trying, and it's fairly easy. You can get just 2 pieces of wood and a clamp and go ahead and do that anytime. Give it a try. Let me know if it works. Next person is the Devo 1324. What can I use other than a heat gun? Okay, the Devo 1324. You can use essentially anything that makes heat. And the amount of heat that it generates has to be proportional to the amount of PVC that you're heating and how hot you need it to get. If you're just heating it, say, to reflex or deflex a limb, smaller amounts of heat can do. And if you need to completely flatten a Schedule 80 1-inch pipe, you're going to need a lot of heat. That thing is thick, heavy, and really a pain in the butt to flatten. You can use heat guns, obviously. You can use charcoal grills. You can use gas or propane stoves. You can use space heaters. Some space heaters will get hot enough, especially the kind that actually burn gas. You can use propane torches. I've seen people use that. Be really careful with that. You've got to move it, and definitely don't put the PVC in the flame. I think that goes without saying. You can put it in boiling water. Anything that creates heat of sufficient temperature, which is, call it boiling, about 212 degrees Fahrenheit. At that point, the PVC starts to soften pretty well. And that's really what you're aiming for. So try things. if you really can't find something, just come on, go out and buy a heat gun. They're not expensive. I paid $25 for my first one from Lowe's, and $40 for my second one, which is much improved, which I did a review of about a month back. Highly recommend that model. I can't tell you how much nicer it is than the first model at $15 more, and on Amazon, it's only like $5 or $10 more. It's like $30. So if you can't afford that, then, you know, I'm just saying, it will make your life a lot easier. This is so much better than using the stove like I did for the first few bows. Riley Williams asks, have you ever been making a bow and then the pipe cracks? Why is that? Okay, well, yeah, that's happened to me. Not so much now, but in the past. That used to happen, not all the time, but frequently enough where I had to think about it. And typically where it happened was when I had flattened the bow, and then I was making it round again, you know, say for Sias or to change the shape of the ends. It happens at the very edges. I think that happened for two reasons. One, when the bow is, or the surface is flat, there's more PVC to act as a heat sink and absorb the heat. Two, at the edges, the hot air can go all the way around and convectively heat the edge. So instead of heating here, you're heating here, but you're heating it from all sides. It heats up much more rapidly. And the bottom line is it overheats, and when PVC overheats dramatically, it fails. It undergoes a irreversible reaction where it releases chlorine, bad for your health, and also weakens the polyvinyl chloride matrix. You're going to want to worry about that. So when I heat a flat piece, I only heat the flat sides, and I keep it solid down. I don't heat the edge, not until it starts to puff up to round or oval. At that point you can start to heat the edges. But just be real careful and heat it gently. Go a little slower than you normally do. Maybe turn the heat down a touch. Other than that, I've had mostly cracks near the handle where I've reinforced bows. I've only had that on 2 different bows, and they were both sort of exceptional odd bows. The only other crack that I've had at all has been a Sia of a Turkish-style bow, which I made all PVC, and it happened right near the caisson, that is, right near the non-bending portion of the Sia. I think, 1, I overheated it, 2, the way I cut the pipe probably left a crack in it, and 3, the Sias were just not shaped in a manner that would be conducive to holding them in the limb. They acted almost as a lever and sort of popped their way through the PVC at the bottom and helped to crack it, I think. I could be wrong, but that's what I think happened. And those are the only ones that have ever done that to me. So, if that's not what you're asking, I'm sorry. Go ahead and, rephrase, give me a little bit more details, and I'd love to help. But that's my experience with bow cracking. Italo Romano asks, Tim, can I use PVC connectors to make a center shot bow? Yes, you can definitely do that. As long as the connectors are strong enough, number 1. And number 2, as long as you can find a way to fit the entire arrow through without disturbing it over much. That might mean using, say, a 1 or 1 1/4 inch connector at the center, or I guess it would be a 4-way joint. Because you want to be able to get the feathers, the fletching through, and then maybe build a whisker biscuit at the other side. That's what I would do. That's what I'm sort of planning on doing, and I've been thinking about when I've teased the idea of doing an unconventional bow with an overdraw. That's basically it. Because then into that 4-way center, you could put a section of pipe. You could shoot a very short arrow through it. It could work out really well. I think it's good. The only reason I haven't done it is because I'd need to go and find connector, all these different connectors to step it down from 1 1/4 inch to whatever ultimate size of pipe I was using, probably 3/4 inch. Give it a shot. I'd love to hear if it works. It's a really good idea. Anthony Ortega and Colt Selleck both had a similar question, so let me paraphrase and they're referring to the Plains Indian bow that I made. Nice beadwork. Who did it? I did. But not in the way you think. I didn't sit there and make a beaded bracelet. I have no idea how to do that, and I don't have the patience for that, to be totally honest with you.
which is weird. I have patience for a lot of things, beadwork, not one of them. So what I did was I went to Amazon, and I'll put the link down below, and on the blog you'll be able to find it, to a bag of bracelets which had exactly the same nested diamond pattern of, I think, white, red, blue, things like that I wanted. It was exactly right. I cut the ends off and glued them to the bow. Here's a pro tip. Put a little hot glue on the bracelets near where you're cutting it to keep them from sending beads spraying everywhere. It's not fun. But other than that, I just took a little X-Acto knife and cut through the wires, and it worked perfectly. So that's all I did for it. If you're interested, the feathers and the beads on the feathers were from a bow that I made for, or no, they're from a tomahawk, from part of an Indian princess costume that we picked up from Halloween Express. It was a cheap piece of reed with a plastic blade, and it had several feathers with longish oval-shaped beads and feather at the end. But it looked awesome and perfect. So I took one and I put it on the bow, took the other and put it on my tomahawk, the Connor Kenway tomahawk that I made. My daughter found out. My daughter, well, you ruined my tomahawk. So I had to fix it. She doesn't know that one is still attached to the bow. Shh, don't tell her. Our little secret, right? But that's where I got that one. I don't know where you'd find similar beads for that one and feathers and stuff, but I'm sure if you go to Michael's, they'd be able to help you out and find stuff like that, or Joanne, or any of your local craft stores. That's really everything I have for this week. So thanks for watching, YouTube. I appreciate all your guys' questions and your viewership. If there's anything else I can do for you guys, if you want to know, if you have questions, if there's stuff that you want me to do, let me know. Thanks for watching.